Hi everyone, so in this video, we're going to be talking about the 9 steps to fix common B2B SaaS website mistakes. These are the exact 9 steps that all of the biggest and most expensive and most valuable websites use to be able to fix their sites and be able to earn millions and drive more leads, improve their lead quality and their user experience, and get customers much faster. You'll be able to, in this video, learn exactly how to fix these 9 basic common mistakes and specifically understand where sometimes these mistakes come from and how to fix them. But before I go in, my name is Laith Wallace. Welcome to Wallace TV. On this channel, I share advice, tools, and motivation to help you to be able to not only improve your websites and your digital apps, but also to become a better designer. And for those business owners who are watching, these are the exact steps that you can use to fix your business, fix your website, so that you'll be able to get more leads, get more clients, and also build your business in a powerful way. The number one thing that is the biggest challenge when people come to your actual site is the navigation. And there's 3 specific things I want to highlight that you can work on when it comes onto your navigation. Simplify your navigation so it has less and simple steps to actually get through. Implement the navigation that will work for you, and also test that navigation against real customers. So one of the key things I begin to see, and I can see it in the tail of these 2 websites. If you go to Tesla.com or you go to linkcars.com, you'll basically see these 2 different websites. Both websites sell cars. But when you look at the navigation of Linkcars and you look at the navigation of Tesla, you see the difference when you have a simplified navigation that is easy for people to access what they are looking for and is categorized in a very simple way. When you're actually looking to have options on your navigation, 1-2 words at most should be there for the options. Try not to make it 3 or 4 words when it comes to options within the navigation. And a much simpler navigation is one of the most basic fundamental things to fix when it comes onto your SaaS website and even into your digital product, into the app. This is the core of how people navigate around your product, how they navigate around your app. So fixing this will be super essential for you to go forward. The second thing that we're talking about is content. Now, your sites don't exist without content. Content is the images, the video, the text on your page, infographics, etc. All of that content is super essential for you to be able to communicate who you're speaking to. Now, there's 3 specific things I want to talk about in relation to content. We can have more, but I kept it simple for today's training. But specifically, we call it the ASQ method. This is not my method. I learned this from a guy called Sean Cannell, learning about YouTube videos, but I found it very powerful when it comes onto websites. And what do I mean? The ASQ method is when you answer specific questions all throughout your actual product pages, as well as in the frequently asked questions section, in your blog section. This is where you focus on, okay, what are the questions, the challenges, the issues my ideal customers are having, and how do we answer those specific questions when they come onto a landing page, when they read the FAQ section, when they go to the blog section of our website. How are we answering these specific questions that our target demographic has, and is it clear all across the website? The next thing we're talking about when it comes to content is resources. Now, the resources section is such an important part of your website. This is downloadable PDFs, this is podcasts, this is webinars, this is white papers, this is tools and software that people can engage with that help them to solve a problem even before they signed up to your app or to your digital product. And I've seen personally that having a free tool, a free tool that someone can engage with, calculator, spreadsheet, etc., that they can use to solve a problem, is so much of a higher form of reciprocity that it will give back to you, that people would want to know more about your app or your product if you're giving away high quality free lead magnets in the form of tools for free. That's in the resources. And when it comes to the content, this is where you have to leverage analytics. So this is where you're making sure you're using tools to basically have a higher score amount when you're creating blog content. For example, one of the tools I use is a tool called Neuron Writer, so that when you're writing blogs, you can have a rough assessment score of the quality of the content you're producing to be able to know that this is going in the right direction for your ideal customers. This is leveraging Google Analytics. This is leveraging tools like SEMrush and others, looking at the analytics to be able to see what is it that people are actually searching for, and am I creating content consistently that speaks to that, because you're following the first one, which we call the ASQ, the answer specific question method. The next point I want to talk about is call to actions. Now, as simple as it sounds, You'll be so surprised. Over the years, I've worked on multiple sites where people don't have action-oriented call to action. So this is where the call to actions could be, I worked on a website recently, and the first call to action was 3 sections down the page underneath a paragraph. So if somebody landed on a page on mobile, they'll have to push their thumb up about 4 times before they actually get to the first button on the page. So these basic mistakes are challenges. So prominent CTAs, action-oriented CTAs. So instead of call now, book your strategy call. Instead of call later, book your 30-minute free call with us. Or get started today is much more action-orientated. So people clear on, okay, when they go to the next step, the button kind of clearly communicates to them what will happen when they go to the next stage. All right. And that's where you have to test with real customers and make sure those CTAs, the prominent CTAs, are aligned all across your whole website as well. Now, the fourth thing I want to highlight is mobile responsiveness. Now, as simple as this sounds, this is something that now has become given. You have to have a mobile responsive site. Sometimes 90% of your traffic when you're running Google Ads can come through just mobile alone. Many times depends upon how people search for content. They might just be searching first on mobile and they complete a transaction on desktop. You really want to make sure that the mobile experience on your site is phenomenal. This literally has to be a given. It cannot be broken. So you might need to test to make sure you've got a mobile first approach across your whole site and look at how that experience is working for your customers. Continually test the mobile experience. This is a given. Everybody knows this, but I still have it here because it's a common mistake that people underutilize. The next thing I want to talk about, point number 5, is search engine optimization. Now, this is a point that everybody knows, but it's still going to be very essential. And with Google that's now created generative AI. When they give you options or answers in generative AI from Google, they also allow a simple link to the answers they give you, which is connecting people to the source material where Google AI has got it from. So although there's generative AI that's coming on the scene now, you can also still rank if you have really good optimized content, even in the generative AI, when it sources back to your own website or blog or whatever it may be on your product, on your app. So keyword research is essential, as you know, simple basics that you have to do to make sure that you're targeting the right keywords on specific pages. The other thing is you want to optimize your site, technically optimize your site, so it's high performing for SEO. So you've got the right scripts in place, you've got the right data so that Google, when it crawls your page, it can read your page accurately. So you've got that in place in the head of your actual page. And that's what we call technical SEO. And the last thing I want to highlight is backlinks. Making sure you have, also you have backlinks, but you're continuously, month on month, week on week, adding backlinks to your website from prominent domains as well. All of this compasses or surrounds the key things that you want to focus on for SEO. There's definitely more we could look at, metadata, etc. But these are the key basics that you want to make sure that you're always focused on. And that's the 5th point around search engine optimization. All right. My 6th point today is around branding. This is super essential. Let me just show you the key things here. Now, everyone, when you're working on your website, you should have been given or should have a style guide that highlights, the voice, the tone, all of those different things that are going to be super essential to make sure that your brand is super clear. The next thing you got to look at is how have you templated aspects to your website when it comes on to spin up new pages inside of your CMS of choice. Me personally, I use Webflow. I find it super powerful when I'm building websites. But inside of Webflow, to be a lot more on brand and be a lot faster, we create templates to spin out new landing pages much faster that are completely on brand and branded and in place, ready to be filled with the right content, simply because it follows a style guide. And when it comes onto the branding piece, how are you collaborating internally so that when new people come inside of your organization and they need to know about what you're doing, how are they making sure that they are on brand as well, and making sure that all of the work that they do doesn't impact your brand in a negative way. So these are the key things that you not only need to think about, but also the processes around how you make sure your brand messaging, your tone of voice, the clarity with which you speak online, and what you're using for colors, fonts, imagery, etc. is all communicated cohesively when it comes onto branding. This is not just about the visual impact of what you do. It's also internally, how do you operationalize that branding element to make sure that you can grow fast, but also execute with much more precision and still look great at the same time. All right. The 7th point I want to highlight today is what I call outdated. But what do we mean when we say outdated? This is where I've gone on so many websites that even the company's transaction fees is not up to date. Their legal information is not up to date. Their privacy policy is not up to date. Blog content is really, really old. You'll be so surprised how many websites of even companies that are making millions still have outdated content on their site. Regularly update your content. It's very good from an SEO standpoint, but just regularly update. You need to have a CMS that empowers the team to move really, really fast. And you can also schedule these updates as well, whether bi-monthly, whether monthly, whether every quarter, whatever it may be. When are you going to audit? When are you going to actually see what's going on? What needs to be updated? And do you have a schedule in place to make sure that those updates are done on a regular basis and also are done to the right branding standards that you highlight and have inside of your business? Okay. These are just common mistakes that we're highlighting, but these common mistakes have massive impact when they compound over a number of months and sometimes even years. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is slow. Now on the slow section, this is really where we are thinking about, okay, when people are using your website, are there any pages that are operating slow? Is there any interactions that are moving slow? Is the responsiveness on mobile being affected by any changes you make to your site? What are the things that need to be implemented or impacted when it comes onto your site and how people navigate your site? Slow sites, anything over 3 seconds, people will leave and go somewhere else. This is a study done by Google where they did some research on how much a slow website can impact how people stay on your site. So make sure this is never an issue for you, just like how mobile and these two, mobile and slow, should never be an issue for you. This should be like basics and givens, but I'm so surprised. I've worked with companies of all different sizes, and even the biggest of companies still suffer from this slow problem. So you want to make sure that you have a CMS in the back end that also doesn't impact when you need to make changes on your site and doesn't slow your site down simply when the team are making changes on the site as well. So this is why it's important to make sure you optimize your site for any changes so that it optimizes for speed. You monitor these changes to make sure these changes do not slow you down, and you potentially migrate to a new CMS. And if you have a CMS that's slowing you down, like in my team, in my business, we help companies to migrate onto the Webflow CMS because it optimizes for speed, optimizes for security, optimizes for team agility, and gives you the control internally to be able to move 10 times faster. And one of our most recent clients were able to 6x the launch of their landing pages simply because we migrated them away from WordPress onto Webflow. And we did that in a matter of 1 to 2 weeks, right? The next thing I want to highlight is vulnerable. When I say vulnerable, I'm literally talking about the security of your site. So this is where you might need to make some updates to the back end. You might need to do some audits to see if there's any security vulnerabilities in relation to the site, especially if you're collecting personal information like name, email. We know because of GDPR compliance, we have to make sure that our security is top notch. The tool that I use, Webflow, does SOC 2 security to make sure that everything's in place, the SSL is in place, and security is really high. We want to make sure that we have audits in place, bi-monthly, quarterly, maybe even monthly audits to check the security of our site. And have we implemented SSL, and have we got enforced HTTPS? Have we enforced that via our site to make sure when people come to our site, they know our website is secure? These basics, vulnerable, slow, mobile, are a must-have. You must not fail on these three, especially on these three. I would even say all 9, don't fail on all 9. But if you are struggling in any way, or you might have issues in any of these 3, prioritize those, get busy, get those done ASAP. And if you need help in any way to fix any of these 9 issues inside of your business, then definitely just reach out to me and I'll walk you through one of the key companies that I worked on recently. So I worked on the site recently for a client, and as I worked with them, they were using the WordPress platform. Now, WordPress wasn't the issue, but the way the team had set up their controls internally, they hadn't got clear controls around communication. They hadn't got clear controls around who is effectively their brand custodian internally. And even though there was a brand guidelines given, when it came on to make changes to the site, we had to wait all on this one person to be able to make changes, and it, visual changes. And it really slowed the team down because there was no templatization internally. There was no personalized templatization. They weren't leveraging AI to be able to move a lot faster in regards to this side of things. And it really slowed the business down. As a result, I needed some landing pages done to get simple landing pages. One landing page that I would have built in Webflow within a matter of 1, maybe even 2 hours or less. That took 2.5 months for the team to launch these 2 landing pages that should have taken less than half a day to get launched. Now, the reason why is because we didn't have the right processes for speed, control, and autonomy. Those 3 things are the 3 basic things all teams need to make sure these 9 challenges don't impact your business. Now, if you want help to be able to make sure you have the speed in your team so that you'll be able to move a lot faster and have the agility, you'll have the control over your site so that your marketing team or your designers can make changes without needing engineers to be able to be dependent upon, and to be able to have the control as well to be able to make the changes when you want, how you want, and within whatever time you need as well. Then just drop me a call. Click on the link down below in the description. You'll see a little Calendly link where you can jump on a call with me. And I'd love to chat to you. We'll see if I can help you with any areas you're struggling, not just on your site, but also in regards to your product, and how we can fix some of these 9 mistakes and even more so that you can increase your leads, increase the revenue into your business, and obviously make sure you have better customers have a better customer experience. Thank you so much for watching today. My name is Laith Wallace. It's been beautiful having you here. Let me know in the comments below where you have any challenges and if you need help fixing anything today. All right, take care and goodbye. Speak to you soon.